Major General in Reserves Doron Almog, Chairman of the Jewish Agency for Israel, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome, Tamar.
So I'm curious, with everything that's happening during these difficult days surrounding the war that broke out on October 7th, how are you seeing the relationship between diaspora Jewry and Israel, specifically from the diaspora's side these days?
Israel resulted due to a long partnership between diaspora communities, Jewish communities all over the world, and the Jews who are stationed here in the state of Israel. And this partnership made Israel what it is. This partnership is about unconditional love. It's about commitment of Jews all around the world for this only Jewish state. And events in the wake of October 7 prove what I'm saying right now. Jews arrived for solidarity mission. Jews raised above $1 billion. Jews came for volunteering, and many Olim, since October 7 until now, about 33,000 Olim arrived to Israel. Many of them joined the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, and many of them also fell in battle, fighting for the only Jewish state. And in some event, the parents arrived after the beloved son who fell in battle, like Nathaniel Young from London, who came, joined Golani Brigade, and was killed on October 7, Shabbat. And the parents later did Aliyah, decided to make Aliyah. Also, Ben El Makayas from France joined the IDF and fought as reserve soldiers and was killed. And the parents decided to make Aliyah after the son, the beloved son, fell in a war.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, of course, it's different in every case, in every family. It's different. Also, the amount of love, the amount of action that is taken by each member in the Jewish people. But in general, this is a statement. October 7 brought a shock, a clear shock to the Jewish world.
The Jewish Agency has been active since the start of the State of Israel, and to this day has done so. But obviously, I'm sure its operations have changed surrounding the war. I'm curious if we had to compare the Jewish Agency from its very roots, 1948, to today, what's changed and what's stayed?
Historically, Jewish Agency built the State of Israel. Jewish Agency was established in 1929 in London, by the way, as agent of the mandate, the British mandate. From 1935 to 1948, David Ben-Gurion was chairman, the same job that I'm doing right now, the chairman of executive of Jewish Agency. And Jewish Agency here in Eretz Israel, as a matter of fact, was the government of the Jews who were stationed here. And in the first war, the War of Independence, Jewish Agency was the temporary government, led for a huge victory, amazing victory against 7 armies and the Palestinian here, 1.5 year long war. And later, the first Israeli government regulated the relationship between the government and Jewish Agency. And Jewish Agency focused, and as a matter of fact, having a monopoly on Aliyah. Aliyah is a job of Jewish Agency, Aliyah from overseas, not the Klita, the absorption here is responsibility of the Ministry of Aliyah. But overseas, Jewish Agency operating all over the world. And Jewish Agency vision in 2 words, it's kibbutz galuyot. This is the state of Israel, is the third temple. We lost the first temple due hatred, free hatred, and the second temple. And this is the only Jewish state, the third temple. We got responsibility to continue building the only Jewish state and establish hope at the heart of Jews all over the world in this crisis. This is the biggest crisis for Jews since Second World War and since the establishment of the State of Israel.
Yeah, it's a huge calamity, and I think it's like you said, impacting not just Israelis but also Jews abroad. How has that reflected onto patterns of Aliyah? I'm not just saying, interest rate, because I think that the interest has clearly risen in Aliyah, but I'm saying in actual, following through with Aliyah, if there's different locations, different behavioral patterns.
Yeah, October 7 unleashed a huge wave of anti-Semitism all over the world. And in this respect, Jews all over the world, in any community, Jews decided to start the first step of Aliyah, which is about doing the registration and getting into the website of Jewish Agency and start the registration and start getting more information from Jewish Agency, in what terms they can make Aliyah, and trying to get answers on small details like standard of living, like how much it costs to live here and buy a house, and how difficult it to learn Hebrew, and where they can live, things like that. So we see a jump of about 4 times higher than the period before the war. So in the United Kingdom, in Canada, in Australia, in United States, we see a jump in the clarification on starting to get more information about Aliyah, doing the first step of registration and getting more answers on Aliyah, what is all about Aliyah. But many, for instance, Carly Maisel, 27 years old, I met her in the United States and asked her, what are you doing tonight? She said, tonight I do Aliyah. I asked her why. She said 2 words, October 7. So what we see that each individual, each Jew individual all over the world, women, men, they make decisions, and some of them jump and make a very brave decision. Aliyah, it's about bravery. It's about courage. It's about leaving the home. It's like Abraham, the father, when God tells Abraham, Lech Lecha. It's get up and move, walk to the Eretz Israel. This is Aliyah, the idea of Aliyah. I'm saying it comes from unconditional love, but there is no rational. This is the most risky place in the world. We are attacked from all over. Iran, more than 500 missiles, ballistic missile, cruise missile, drones. Hezbollah, more than 10,000 missiles and thousands of drones, and from Gaza, more than 20,000. There's no rockets and missiles, and there's no country in the world that was attacked like the State of Israel. And despite this situation, horrible situation, hatred all over the world, a wave of rising anti-Semitism, Jews, mainly youngsters, the young generation, the future of all of us, the future of the Jewish people, they take responsibility and they move forward. They come like Abraham, the father, founder.
Yeah, there's this really big wave of specifically young people making Aliyah. I'm curious what kind of curated services at the Jewish Agency specifically target such an audience.
Number one, many want to serve in the IDF, in the security forces. That I think that they got admiration of heroism. Maybe it's a tradition of Jewish people, you know, Moses, Joshua, King David, Maccabi. You know, our history, the 3,000 history, prove each one of us that we are, all of us, we got a tradition of heroes. And I think every Jew in every home all over the world got the Bible, the stories from the Bible, the story of Jewish education. What is Jewish identity? It's about stories that were established here in Eretz Israel. And I think the most to be inspired is the young generation. They arrive first, they come to study, and the Aliyah is a growth engine for the state of Israel. If you take, for instance, the 1 million Jews who arrived at the 90s, 1990, 91, 92, 93, 95, about 1 million Jews arrived from Russia. Look what they brought. What they contribute, the contribution of the 1 million for business, for science, for culture, for Gesher theater, for health, doctors, politicians like Lieberman and many. They influence all our life here in Israel. And the Aliyah is a growth engine. It's very important economically, very important strategically, militarily, socially. In every field, the contribution of Olim is huge for the state of Israel. So we're thinking about the future. We need Aliyah. We need a new wave of Aliyah, 1 million people to come and get here, get their life here, continue, start a new chapter in their life and strengthen the state of Israel. We need them more than ever. You know, there's huge debate here in Israel about Haredim. They should be joined by order, by law, whatever. But there are about, according to Halacha, there are about 8 million Jews all over the world, and not according to Halacha, which says the mother is not Jew, but father is Jew. For my opinion, they are Jew, purely Jew. But we have about 18 million overseas. So yes, we need them, and we need to attract them. And I believe that not only the brave one that arriving right now to fight with us later, after the war ending, we need to establish a new atmosphere, attractive atmosphere, and establish here an exemplary society. We are not fighting for revenge or for punishment. We are fighting because it's existential. We must fight for our existence. They want to wipe out the state of Israel. Hezbollah, Iran, Hamas, whatever. So fighting, it's a necessity. We must fight. We must fight. But our goal is not fighting. It's a mean. Fighting is a mean. And later, after we get stabilized the situation here, later we need to establish Chevrat Mofet.
Exemplary society.
Exemplary society. What does exemplary society? It means that a society with striving for excellency in every field, health and security and business and science and every field, striving for excellency, and from the other side, never forget the weakest behind.
Absolutely. Major General Doron Almog, thank you so much for joining us today.